Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I made this quick overview to help you guys with your preparations. The SJT is next week, and I know a lot of you are struggling to tell the difference between response options. It was the most asked question in my last Instagram question sticker. So I made this quick video or post to break it down in the simplest way possible to the best of my knowledge. Please note that every information in this video is strictly based on my thoughts or experience and how I would approach the SJT. So for the SJT, you'll be expected to rank your responses from most appropriate to very inappropriate. You can pause the video to read and understand all the options. Now here's how I'll differentiate between the responses. Very appropriate should be the best possible response to the situation. I believe it should fully align with the NHS values, address the issues effectively, it should be proactive and professional, and it should prioritize patient safety and teamwork. The next one should be appropriate, a reasonable response, but not the best one. It also aligns with the NHS core values, but it addresses the issue, but less effectively. It lacks some proactiveness or responsibility. Then the third one is neither appropriate nor inappropriate. It's just a neutral response that doesn't help much, but it doesn't make things worse as well. The fourth one is inappropriate but not awful. It's a poor choice that fails to follow the best practice, but isn't extreme misconduct, or it doesn't lead to extreme misconduct. The fifth one would be very inappropriate and completely unacceptable. A completely wrong response. It ignores patient safety, it ignores professionalism, ignores the NHS core values. So the question is usually, this option is usually very wrong and it's completely unacceptable. Let's look at this example together. You are a trainee clinical scientist in a busy laboratory. A colleague informs you that they accidentally processed a sample incorrectly, which could impact a patient diagnosis. They seem anxious and ask you not to tell anyone as they are afraid of getting into trouble. What should you do? Now, here are the possible action rank from most appropriate to least appropriate. So the first one will be reassure your colleague and promise not to report the mistake as they are already feeling guilty. Next, advise them to report the mistake to a senior colleague but do not take any further action yourself. Encourage them to report the mistake, and if they don't, escalate the issue yourself. Report the mistake immediately to your supervisor without speaking to your colleague first. So let's go through the responses together. The most appropriate response should be encourage them to report the mistake, and if they don't, you escalate it yourself. So this is because this response prioritizes patient safety while allowing your colleague to act responsibly. If they refuse, you take the necessary step to ensure the issue is addressed. The next option would be somewhat appropriate. Advise them to report the mistake to a senior colleague, but do not take any further action yourself. This is because you are encouraging them to do the right thing, but you are not taking full responsibility for ensuring it happens, which is ensuring that they've reported the mistake. If they don't report it, the mistake may go unaddressed. Next would be somewhat inappropriate. So you report the mistake immediately to your supervisor without speaking to your colleague first. This is because while escalating is important, this approach ignores teamwork and communication. Speaking to your colleague first allows them to take responsibility before involving higher authorities. So one of the NHS core value is teamwork. So it encourages teamwork and collaboration. So with a question like this, you need to give your colleague chance to take responsibility. I know a couple of people have reached out to me to ask me questions about when to escalate a situation, because in my last video I talked about your best option being escalating. Now you need to know the difference. So let's say you are doing an independent work and you make a mistake, you are not sure of something, you receive a call, someone is asking for a result. In that type of situation, you are not sure of what to do. So you escalate. You ask senior colleague for help. You report the mistake you've made. These are situations where you are working independently. But in a situation like this where a colleague is involved, you should give them room to take the right responsibility. And so in ranking your option, those type of options should come first before reporting directly. So if you report directly without giving your colleague the chance um to take responsibility, that means you are not encouraging teamwork and collaboration. But you should note that the SJT honestly does not have a particular formula or how you should answer questions. It's honestly based on the situations you have in front of you or the scenarios you are faced with. So these are just informations you should have at the back of your mind or tips that will help you answer the SJT questions correctly. So this is not me saying this is how you should answer every question. It's just having this information to help you, but this is not a formula on how the SJT should go. Please take note of that. The very inappropriate option would be reassure your colleague and promise not to report the mistake as they are already feeling guilty. This completely violates patient safety and could lead to serious consequences if the mistake affects diagnosis or treatment. So it is very inappropriate. So here are some tips you should have at the back of your mind in approaching the SJT questions. You can pause the video to read through. So this particular tip, I believe, should help you in differentiating between very appropriate and appropriate. I had a couple of people asking me how to differentiate between both of them. I would admit it is quite confusing. So this is what I would do. So if two responses seem correct, ask yourself this question. Which one is more proactive? Which one best ensures patient safety? Which one shows stronger teamwork and professionalism? If you're able to figure that out, then that should be the most appropriate one, and the second one should be appropriate or less effective, or we can just simply say somewhat appropriate. Now, these are some tips that should help you while taking the test. So, time management, maintain a positive mindset, read each question carefully, don't rush through. So you can pause the video again to read through for better understanding. So that's it, guys. I wish you all the best in your test. Remember to stay calm, be positive, and trust your gut. Click the subscribe button, like this video, share, and follow me on all social media platforms, STP with Cynthia on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you very much for watching, or I should say, thank you very much for listening and reading through. I wish you the very best. Bye.